Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, welcome to the Diva of DOOL's weekly podcast, where we talk all things days of our lives, and sometimes General Hospital, and sometimes hockey, sometimes football when it's football season. We're all in mourning from football season, so we're not going to talk about that right now. But anyway, got a full house here. We got this is Anna hosting tonight. You can find me at Kazi Hooch on Twitter. And also you can find the Diva of DOOL on iTunes, all of our past interviews, all of our past weekly podcasts, and all that good stuff is right there on iTunes. We're also on Facebook, and Carrie has a blog. I always get Diva of Days of Our Lives, right? .com. Carrie, where can we find the Diva on Twitter?
At Diva of DOOL.
All right. And Marianne?
Hi. Yes, I'm at on Twitter, Mama_Hooch on Twitter.
Okay. And though we have the same last name, we aren't technically related, although we feel like we are. So that was Hooch. Anyway.
It goes way back.
Yeah, Kazi Hooch is a mixture of things. Yeah, two things. And we've got Jen on the line. Jen, you want to tell everyone where they can find you on Twitter?
At REXJDK.
All right. Okay. Well, I have to just say, probably the first time in a long time, I watch the show every single day, I think, at night. Wow. I mean, not live, but I watched it in the late evening of like the day of, pretty much. I mean, so, because I was like, I hated Jordan before, but I'm kind of enjoying this whole psychological blame Ben for everything, but it's really his crazy sister who nobody knew was crazy. So I'm kind of enjoying that. Plus, Kate was on, I think, every day this week, so that was another good reason to do that. So I'm kind of biased, but oh well. Speaking of that, you can find Lauren Kozla, who plays Kate Roberts on Days of Our Lives. You can find her at Lauren Kozlo, and you can find our beloved Teo Penglis at Teo Penglis on Twitter, and they both have Facebook as well. And let's see, and then we also like to share our beloved friend from. Usually from General Hospital, but also he was on Days of Our Lives as well. Ian Buchanan, his Twitter handle is KiltTripUSA. And we also give a shout out to Bob and Amy Hapka, our dear friends. And did Amy's mom pass away this past week or so?
She did.
I'm not on Facebook, but I thought I saw something somewhere. So
yeah, she did. I saw where they're having a memorial service or something today.
I knew she had been sick. I knew she'd been sick, and so, but I'm never on Facebook, and somehow I saw something on my iPhone, and I just wanted to mention that we send our love to them, and that we, just are thinking of them, and especially Amy at this time. And also one of our diva girls, Sherry Henry, who people have known from Lauren Kozla's fan base, but also she helps out with the Diva of DOOL interviews when we're at Diva of Days, and a dear friend of our show and a friend of ours personally. She lost her doggie Maggie, yesterday. She was a good girl. She was a very good girl. And sweet Dingo she got her 10, 12 years ago at least, I think, and she was just a friend found her and took care of her for a couple of years, and then gave her to Sherry, and she's taken care of her all these years, and she's been real sick this last while. The Maggie had been, so she's really been taking a lot of care with her, and so Maggie finally, had fought the good fight, but she went to doggy heaven yesterday. So wanted to send our love and condolences to Sherry Henry as well. And you can find Sherry at Scary Sherry. I think it has 3 R's. Scary has 3 R's. Scary Sherry on Twitter. And she tweeted a picture of Maggie. So anyway, so any other announcements or things that we want to pass on to the folks before we get started?
Yep.
Jen, you doing okay?
I think so.
Yep.
Okay. Carrie? Anything?
I'm good.
Anything you can think of that I've left out? Okay. Marianne?
Oh, I did want to mention, we just discovered today that the divaofdool.com blog is 10 years old.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
10
right.
years.
Yeah.
2009.
And the
the
podcast here will be, in August, podcast will be 10 years old.
Wow.
So,
That one was August.
Congratulations. 'Cause
yeah.
You guys started that. I came in after it started, but congratulations on all that.
Who was the first?
It's kind
Who was the first interview? Was it Steve Blackwood?
Yeah, it was
Was that
Steve
your
Blackwood
first
was the first
interview?
interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
then Leanne Hunley was the
Leanne
second.
Hunley.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Great.
and if anybody wants to get nostalgic with us and go look at some of our old interviews, like I said, on iTunes and on
they're
the
still there.
blog, they're all there, and it's easy to find. You can look up the ones you want to watch or listen to, and then all the Day of Days interviews as well on the site on the divaofdool.com.
And if I can remember, when we started our show, we didn't go by our real names like we do now, or our Twitter names.
Yeah.
It was like I think
right.
I was Queen of the Night. That was
Yes.
Debbie Bass. Yeah. And I remember Madeline helped us, and she was
Yes.
I forget what
Saddle
Shoes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. And of course you were the
Yeah, we had
that was
aliases.
We had aliases. We were being secret.
I can't remember if I ever had an alias or if I went by Kazi Hooch or what.
When
can't
you
remember.
came on, I don't know if then with social media and with Twitter and all that. We started
Yeah. On the Sony, we had the Sony boards back then.
Goes way back.
Crazy.
Yeah, the Sony boards
Boy,
were fun.
Social media has certainly changed things, hasn't it, guys?
Oh, yeah.
And none of the actors were online, did anything, said anything, promoted nothing.
Right.
They weren't involved at all until Facebook and Twitter came around.
Well, and
especially
it was funny because we would always wonder when we were posting naughty pictures of Teo and other people. We were always wondering, or I usually posted in the Lauren Koslow fan section, and of course the Teo Suchis, and we always wondered, like, do they ever read this stuff? And now we know, of course they probably did, because now that they're on Twitter, they read all of it, right?
Oh yeah, they did.
Anyway, so what a difference a decade makes. Although that Twitter's been around almost that long, probably, but we weren't. There were a lot of people that weren't really on it for a while, and then they started catching on, to Twitter and Facebook. So anyway, okay. Well, after all of that, but yeah, we've definitely met some dear friends along the way. And and Jen, of course, and we've had Sherry Henry's helped out, and Carrie Sachs has also done the Diva interviews, and I'm sure there's we've had Bobby Cullen and Kenneth, and I know there's been so many people over the years, and we really appreciate
over the years.
Yeah. Yep. So. I guess we kind of outlasted some of the people that were, around at that same time, huh? Because I don't hear about some of those anymore. But anyway.
Oh, some of those other
at the base of
shows, blog talk shows and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But at the base of everything, it's our friendship and our love of days of our lives, and hockey and football and other keep us here. So anyway, all right. Well, and as Carrie put in here in the summary of the show on the Blog Talk page, 367th show. This is meaning the weekly show. Wow. And then
wow.
I don't even know how many interviews we have. That's not counted in that number. So anyway, so we've had a lot of fun. So happy 10th anniversary. So to the Diva. All right. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I guess the biggest overriding umbrella story this week, pretty much dominated most of the show, I think, was, okay, so Charlotte Jordan, Ben's sister, who was supposed to be normal when she was in Salem before, other than I stole Rafe from Kate or whatever. I mean, Kate actually broke up with Rafe, but I never was a fan of Jordan's character ever. But I have been upon her return because she's really evil and awful and all that. So I'm actually kind of enjoying the character this time, even though that probably says more about me than it does her. Anyway, so Ben, of course, because of his long rap sheet and horrible history of, the necktie killer and all that other stuff, of course, everybody always points to Ben when anything goes wrong in Salem, right? But we all know that Ben's a good
especially
guy
Hope.
Underneath it all. Yeah, well, definitely Hope. Yeah, definitely
it's
Hope.
Like, let it go,
and so
Hope.
she will not she will not let any opportunity to go to throw him in jail and try to get rid of him. So anyway, Jordan comes into town. Let's see, the first thing. Oh, Ciara had gone to, I think this was the end of last week maybe, or has this been going on for 2 weeks? I can't remember. Was it the end of last week that Jordan kidnapped Ciara, or was that the week before?
I think it was a week before.
Last week.
Week before.
Okay. Well, anyway,
been
we all
going
know
on,
that Jordan kidnapped her from the airport. She got back from South Africa, and Jordan kidnapped her somehow at the airport and took her to the cabin, the famous cabin that's been burned down I don't know how many times now, but it still manages to be standing. I don't know how that happened.
It's a haunted cabin.
It's a little charred around
why did
the
they think
edges,
of that?
but
Took Chad to figure it out. Like, you think Hope would have thought of that the first thing?
I know. So, the cop shop has never been famous for actually solving crimes in any real material way. But anyway,
Ben would have figured it out too. Yeah, that's where I took her.
The cop shop has mostly been used to get relatives and friends off the hook for pretty much. But anyway, still a little evidence from the evidence room so that somebody can get off, from some sort of charge. So, we know how that goes. But we've always argued the DeMiras weren't really that much worse than the Bradys and everybody because, But we love them all. But so we know Ciara had been kidnapped, and I don't think she took a pee break the whole time she was kidnapped, so that was bothering me immensely. Anyway, so even though she said she wanted to pee at one point, go to the bathroom at one point, she didn't ever actually get to because Jordan stabbed her in the neck with that potion or whatever, and basically made her pass out. She goes and then kidnaps Charlotte, and then so she's got both Charlotte and Ciara. That's right, because last week she was putting on that lipstick and making her hair all crazy and everything while she was holding the baby. So of course, Ben of course gets accused of all of this. So he's at the cop shop. He's in the interrogation room, quote unquote. And let's see. He's like, enough of this crap, and he basically knocks Eli out, steals his gun, comes out. I think that was the end of last Friday. Steals his gun and comes out and basically puts the gun to Hope and makes her come with him. And then, what I think he really was trying to do was solicit her help, knowing full well that he did not do what he was being accused of doing. But he definitely needed to get out of there because he had to go rescue his girl. Because he's a hero. And we all love Ben, right? So they're out in the park or something, and I mean, where does everybody in Salem who wants to hide go? The park bench that everybody goes to, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or to be overheard,
so
or yes.
Yeah, so he and Hope, I don't know. I think he was going to try to get her to help him think about where could Ciara be. I know I didn't take her, And Ted comes up behind him, sees him, and he tries to get the gun away. Right? Doesn't he jump Ben or something?
Yeah.
He jumps Ben.
They
Yeah.
hustle, and Ben basically makes, pork tenderloin out of the guy.
Away.
So, so Ben gets away, and and then, of course, when you're trying to run from the police with a gun after you've knocked a police officer out, kidnapped another one, you go where? To the Horton Town Square. Because that's where everybody goes.
Runs into
so because you're trying to escape unnoticed, you go to the most popular place in town next to the park bench. And so who does he run into but Chad? And doesn't Chad, because I watch this early in the week. Usually I watch them all in one day, but since I spread it out during the whole week, I'm trying to remember. Doesn't Chad try to kill him or something? And then he's or something. Or how did they figure out? Chad...
I don't know. Chad figured it out. If I can remember,
yeah,
was it Chad that said about it?
Wasn't Chad
I think I know where
kill the guy, and then he's and then somehow he's look,
and
I didn't take them. Yeah,
right.
And so then anybody feel free to jump in because I'm fuzzy on
how did
Chad
just kind of miraculously figured this out right at that very moment?
Because
when he had all this time
if Jordan was trying to frame Ben, supposedly, obviously, she'd take them to the cabin.
Right.
Yeah, and this was after Ben encountered Jordan, because Jordan brought the baby back to Abigail. Right. Okay.
Oh, no, this was before.
Oh, no, not yet.
Was that before?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
This is before. I mean, it was probably happening at the same time, because as Chad left...
Oh, yeah, she encountered just Abigail at the time.
Right.
Yes. Right. Ben or Chad was at the cabin.
So that hasn't happened yet on the screen. So they both somehow or other they figure it out, and they're like, oh shoot, it's the cabin that we burned down 4 times. That's got to be where she's got the baby
still not burnt.
And Ciara. Yeah, I know it's got a little rough around the edges, but it's still standing. But anyway, so they take off for. Okay, go ahead, Jen.
And that bed is not charred at all.
Of course not. It's got flame retardant on it or something. Anyway, so yeah, exactly. So, and is this the same cabin that Ben took Ciara to, right? When she hurt herself, when she got that motorcycle accident too, and burned it down. Yeah, I mean, it's been honestly, I wouldn't go there. If I were anybody
tried to burn
I would not go to
Chad and Abby back in. Yeah.
Just stay away from the neighborhood, basically.
Yep.
So it's somebody ought to burn it down for real after this. But anyway, so they take off. They head to the cabin. Meanwhile, this is what you were thinking, I think, Marianne. Meanwhile, Jordan, before she leaves Ciara, she tells Ciara, well, I've got to save the rest of Salem because even though Ben will probably try to kill you, and that's kind of a foregone conclusion, and you're going to let him because you're going to be around him because you love him, and there's no way you're not going to tell on me, so I'm going to have to off you, but I think I can save Charlotte because she can't talk yet, duh, and then Ben will be set up. Everybody will think that he killed you, and then the rest of Salem will be safe forever and evermore. So, because this is crazy logic, of course. And so Ciara pleads her case, of course. This makes no sense. She'll never tell anyone, yada, yada. But Jordan's crazy, but she's not that crazy. So she says, no, gotta give you the death shot. So she gives her the death shot. So poor girl still hasn't gone to the bathroom. And she's passed out, going to die. And then, before she grabs the baby, Jordan decides, while Ciara was still awake, she's like, I got to set this place on fire. She starts throwing the gasoline or whatever, the accelerant around. And she's like, I got to set this thing on fire because that's Ben's M.O. And he's the crazy one, not me, right? So she sets the place on fire and then grabs baby Charlotte and takes off with her. And she, before the guys get to the cabin, she's in the process of going to Abigail at the Horton house. She brings, she comes in, and I think she was going to try to just leave the baby, wasn't she? But Abigail came running in, and so came walking in.
Yes.
So she's like, oh my gosh, is that my baby? Like, is that my baby? And like, she's like, you know, basically, she's like, give her to me, and Jordan wouldn't. Does anybody want to take part of that? I'm talking too much. Does anybody want to take that part of the scene? That part where basically she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's my baby! Give me my baby!" And then
she wouldn't do it.
And when she wouldn't do it, Abigail's kind of figuring out something's wrong here.
Right.
You know, she's not.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
she kind of she kind of figures that something is wrong.
Yeah. And doesn't she get one of her needles out or something? She's about to give the same thing to the baby or to Abigail.
No, she's going to give it to Abby.
Oh, Abigail. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so in the meantime, the boys have gotten to the cabin. Discover it's burning down, of course, in the same place as it always burns down, but never completely burns down. And of course, you know, Chad's like, oh my gosh, where's my baby? Well, they managed to get Ciara awake enough and everything, and because she's screaming, she's thinking she's going to die, of course, which she would if nobody had shown up. So Ben's a hero, Chad's a hero, and check those boxes. And while Ben's getting her loose and everything, she's telling Chad that Jordan's the one that did all this, and Jordan took off with the baby, and she was supposed to be returning her to Abigail. And so Chad's like, you got this? Got it. He takes off home to get to Abigail. And, of course, by then, I mean, he knows that that Jordan is nuts. And so when he gets there and he sees the whole situation going down between Abigail and Jordan, being the sharp-minded guy that he is, he picks up on this and says, oh, well, oh my gosh, I had to shoot Ben, because Jordan's rambling about why she has to do this and blah, blah, blah. And Chad pulls out a gun. He says, no, he goes, I had to shoot Ben. He tried to stop me, and I had to kill him. And so then Jordan has a meltdown. She's like, oh, my God, my brother, the brother that's crazy and kills people.
She didn't want that to happen.
No, she didn't foresee that happening. And so she basically, how does she give the baby over? Do they finally just grab the baby?
Well, then Chad said, well, now Ben is dead, so everybody is safe. Yeah. That's what you wanted. So there's going to be, nobody's going to be hurt because, so now will you give us the baby? And that was the logic of how Ben, Chad was trying to explain it to Jordan.
That he knows that she's the one that did it, yeah. He's just trying to get the baby back.
Just
and so they
get
the baby back, and they're so consumed with the baby that that Jordan just walks out, takes off.
Walks out the door.
And so then, let's see, then she's all distraught and everything, and she ends up, another place when you want to be alone and cry and mourn the loss of somebody who isn't actually dead but you think they are, is you sit on the bench in front of the pub, the Brady pub, because nobody ever shows up there that you know. Most people didn't even know she was in town, but she's going to go sit there after she wreaked havoc with the entire
any of the Bradys.
She's going to go sit on that bench, And so while she's sitting on that bench crying about her brother that's dead, that she wanted to have, sent to Bayview for the rest of his life, she's all broken up about that. Then, Chad and Abigail are happy they got their baby. Ben's like basically, kissing Ciara, and they're having their little reunion.
Get Ciara
out. Her out of the house, and she's breathing and hasn't brushed her teeth in like 2 weeks, but they're kissing. I mean, these little things matter. They matter. I'm sorry, they just do. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I sound like so glib. I don't mean to be.
They're just so cute together.
I was obviously into it if I was watching it every night, right? And so, no, it was really sweet, and it was the old soapy stuff. It really was. It was like you could totally see.
It was a Bo and Hope moment.
Bo rescuing Hope. And
you can see that,
and Yeah, so then as that's happening, then, of course, I just thought, I just know it. Hope is going to show up and shoot him or something. Yeah. But anyway, so Hope
she pulls a gun on
him. French show up, and he pulls a gun on him. She pulls a gun on him, and then Ciara's like, no, Mom, no, he saved me, you know. So through all that drama, because at first Hope's like, yeah, right, you know. But eventually, you know, she hugs her baby girl, and they reunite, and then I couldn't believe it. I almost dropped my remote. Hope walks over to Ben, stands right in front of him, and apologizes to him.
Oh, my God.
She thanked him, too.
Yeah.
But she did apologize to him for thinking he was the one who did it.
And then he, being the gracious guy he is, says, I would have thought the same thing, and I don't blame you. And I was like, no, I would have smacked her.
Exactly.
She needed a necktie around her.
Yep. Exactly. And then you know, once they decide they need to leave, you know, and get her to the hospital because she can't breathe and stuff, you know, once they decide that she needs to be
get her checked out.
Taken to the hospital, then she says, you know, are you okay? Can you walk to the car? And she says, yeah, I think so. And Ben just goes and picks her butt up and walks her to the car. And I was
see the look on Hope's face?
Yeah.
You're not winning this one. No.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So I thought, yeah, that's a real man right there. I love it. So what's not to love about that? So,
and what's not to love about Ted?
Oh, you like Ted? The kiss? That was later in the hospital where he kisses Hope, but Rafe missed it. Rafe missed it. He walked in after it happened. But then he was having his, well, that's another thing for you. He was having his moment with Kate.
They get Ciara to the hospital.
But anyway.
We can move to that part. So they get Ciara to the hospital. They're sitting out there waiting in the waiting room, and Hope's like, oh, I got to get back to the office. And Ted's like, you need to be a mother right now. Your kid's in the hospital. You just got her bachelor died, you know. So, Jen, you want to take that part?
I did not get to see that. I have not seen Fridays yet.
Okay. Does somebody else want to take that part with the kissing and the?
He just turned. Yeah, he just moves in and kisses her. Although, she didn't push him back too fast though. She did after a long pause there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says, like, don't do that. And yes.
So,
and then and then Rafe came out.
So there's that. So before we go on to the Kate part of the story, which is also important, Terry, do you want to take over for the Eric and the Rex and the Sarah portion?
Yeah, Rex is an asshole. So I want you to start
pretty much.
That.
Yeah, they messed him up.
He's
an asshole.
Clueless. I mean, seriously, would any of you raise of hands if you'd want him to work on you as a doctor? Would you want to be his patient?
No.
Does anybody here want to be his patient?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No.
So take it from there, Gary. From Valentine's Day.
Yeah, he was trying. He basically was rushing Valentine's dinner for Sarah at Eric's apartment, which is still just weird. It just seems creepy. And he burnt the cake because he broiled it instead of he wanted it to cook faster. I've never heard of anybody doing that before. Yeah, it didn't turn out too well. Oh, and this is the controversy you guys were texting about this week. Eric said that Sarah liked his grandmother's, as in Eric's grandmother's, blueberry pie.
Yeah.
And, but Eric and Rex would share a grandmother on their Brady side of the family, which would be Caroline.
Specifically the grandma that made the blueberry pie.
Well, maybe Rex didn't know about the blueberry pie because he wasn't around growing up. I don't know. Or how much time did he spend with his grandmother? Grandma Evans.
No, we thought about that.
We did think of that.
No, we thought about that. And we did. I when we were texting about it, I was like, did I hear him right? did I hear him right, or is he talking? Because he spent a lot of time. Eric spent a lot of time with Marlena's parents in Denver.
Grandmother.
But Rex was actually in town when he was younger and stuff. But I just thought it was weird because all the time with all these people, I'm having to sit there and go, wait, he's related this way, he's related that way. So I'm sitting there going, I got the family tree up going in my mind going, wait a minute, that's his grandma too. So I call it Blueberry Pie Gate.
Actually,
anyway, he says it twice.
Noah Caroline wasn't his grandmother. Rex's grandma. Wait, Rex. Okay, yes.
Yeah, Roman's his dad.
Thinking Brady.
Yeah, both of them. And they said they still serve that blueberry pie at the pub. Because, anyway, I mean, we don't have to get too creative with it, but I just was like, wait a minute here. Let me think about this. That's his grandma, too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so from there, Carrie.
Have a reason.
So, Eric did say my grandmother's recipe, my grandmother's blueberry pie. So that just seemed awkward because he's talking about Caroline. It's you should have said our grandmother.
Yeah.
So it is. It is possible. Maybe it was Marlena's mother's recipe, but anyway, if you guys were interested in the blueberry pie saga. So Rex leaves to go get the blueberry pie. He tells Eric to stay there, set up the table for him and Sarah. I mean, the balls on this man.
Oh, clueless. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And to entertain her so he comes back. Because basically, if they don't have a blueberry pie made, making one from scratch is going to take a while. Especially if they don't have any blueberries. So Eric does what he's told, which is weird. But after a while, you think Eric would say no. But he doesn't. He just totally bent over backwards to make Rex happy.
I'd be like, get out.
Yeah, it's like Eric's his wingman. Yeah, Eric's the wingman of Rex, and Rex just expects his wingman to, help him with his girl all the time. It's just kind of weird. And it's actually kind of annoying me with the storyline. So Eric's doing the setting the table, and he's got the flowers in his hand. He's going to put them in water, and Sarah's at the door. He opens the door, and she's surprised because he's standing there with flowers. It was a cute scene. And he lets her in, and he sets up the flowers, and she notices that he used kitchen towels as the placemats. I thought that was kind of cute. So Rex takes a while coming back because he sees Jordan crying outside the pub and is wondering what's going on with her. And you should have figured since it's Valentine's Day and you see a girl crying, probably it's a love problem, but she's upset because she was told by Chad that Ben is dead because Chad shot him. So, and I have to say, too, Jordan's hair should have tipped everybody else that she was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
she got the crazy hair.
The crazy hair, I figured that's how it was.
Yeah, the weird braid on the top of her head, and the rest of her hair is loose. Yeah, it's a Sammy Brady throwback that should have stayed when Sammy was doing that with her hair.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they called it the dino braid back then. She kind of made her look like a dinosaur. So then Rex gets a phone call that Kate's in the hospital, and Kayla tells him over the phone, we think she overdosed. It's just, Kayla was being a bit of a bitch, I have to say, with the whole Kate situation. Kayla, didn't you think she was being a bit of a bitch to Kate?
Yeah.
Considering Kayla should be, wasn't Kayla spying on Kate for Stefan?
Yeah, Kate should be on Kayla.
Mm-hmm. So why is Kayla giving her a bunch of attitude when
I
she's being Kate?
She's being judgy.
I think because Kate called her on it and told her like it is that Kayla's no better than she is.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. That's a good point. She did. But still, that's her patient. I mean, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And where's there's another privacy thing down the drain. Yeah,
she's laughing at everybody.
Even though it's trying to kill herself, but still, you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I cringe every time I watch that hospital.
I know.
Oh yeah. I know.
Oh. So okay. So meanwhile, so we were left at where Sarah. Have you gotten that part where Sarah shows up and Rex isn't there?
Yeah, so Sarah, it's been a while, but Rex goes straight to the hospital and doesn't contact Sarah. So Sarah starts panicking and thinking that Rex is cheating on her right then and there. Which, I mean, that's pretty bad if you're in a relationship with a guy and you think he's cheating on you on Valentine's Day. You know? Yeah, so I think he eventually calls her and tells her when he gets to the hospital about Kate. So I believe that's the end of it. I don't think anything else happened with Eric and Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then just a little bit to fill out the Kate part, and then Marianne, we got some Charlena love going. But with the Kate part, so Rafe thought it was weird that Gabi had seen Jordan, of all people, helping Kate because they hate each other. She would never help Kate, and that Kate was falling down drunk, supposedly in the middle of the day, which Rafe also could not envision. He decided to go to Kate's place to mail in. And sure enough, I mean, he's banging on the door, can't get a hold of her and everything. And he's about to walk away, and he hears this thud, and he's like, and she's not responding. So he, like a hero, let me have my moment, guys, because I used to love Rafe. Even though I don't like Rafe, I loved Rafe together. So he kicks down the door, goes in, finds a pill bottle empty by her hand, and she's passed out. And oh, how I was hoping he would give her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but he didn't. He did give her like the CPR stuff, but he didn't actually kiss, put his mouth on her. So I was hoping that was a missed opportunity. Anyway, so he calls an ambulance. They come and get her, and she's passed out, toes up, almost dead. And then they get her to the hospital, and she flatlines while she's in the hospital. They bring her back, and of course Kayla finally gets the tox screen stuff back, and says, well, she didn't actually overdose from those pills, something else. So in the meantime, Rafe holds her hand at one point, and he's like, why did you have to do this? He thinks she tried to kill herself. And he's like, Kate, why would you do that? You're not like that. He's like trying to talk with her. And then at one point, she wakes up, and she comes to, and she says, right, I'm not like that. It was Jordan that did this to me. And then doesn't he get a call about that time? Was it before that or after that? After Kate says that, doesn't he get a phone call that Jordan's actually the one on the run? Something he calls Hope, and Hope.
I forget how he finds out.
He was on the phone at some point, yeah. And so
everybody starts to find out it was Jordan.
Yeah, and Kate, and he's like, well, how did you get involved? Like, why did she do this to you? She's like, because I figured out what she was up to. She goes, I thought she was helping Ben or something, because she dropped a grocery bag and I had stuff in it for everybody. And I was like, wait a minute here. So so Kate looked good on a couple of counts. I love that she's still her kick butt self and fierce. So anyway, Rafe kind of said goodbye to her once they were kind of taking care of her, and once Rex got there, he and now has Rex hasn't put two and two together yet, right? With Jordan. He probably never will, right? They're gonna have her
put two and two together, get 9.
Lady on the loose, poisoning people and trying to burn down places and stuff, and he's not even gonna realize that was Jordan that he was talking to on that bench because he's so close. So anyway, so he's there for his mom, which was nice, and then Okay, so that was that part. Oh, also one more thing. When he was talking to Jordan on the bench by the pub, across from the pub, she put her hair all the way up, and he said, "What happened?" Because he saw this big scar on her neck, on the back under her hair.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, I was in a really bad car accident about a year ago." So there's her, like, that must have, so that must have been the excuse that they wrote in to make her go, BS. That crazy. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, also her upbringing, blah, 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 but, she wasn't related to, Clyde was her stepfather, but he abused her, of course, but she didn't genetically come by that stuff, but maybe environmentally, so now they're going to blame it on that car accident triggering it or something, because she had
That's what I'm wondering, too. That's,
Oh, I'm sure. Why else would they have
happened
written
from that? If that was a car accident, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so that I wanted to get that piece in. So now the part that was the most Valentine's-y of the whole thing, I think, really. Marianne, you want to talk about Darlena and about
I could talk
Diana?
about that a little bit before. Before that, I would just want to mention back to the hospital with Ben and Ciara when they were in the hospital room and they're all lovey-dovey and stuff and all that. And then Hope comes in and talking, and then Ben says about, if you want to arrest me, I'll understand. And I'm like, Ben, shut your mouth. But anyway, so I don't know if Hope's going to press charges or not. But then, I'm telling you, scared the crap out of me. I don't know, it was right at the end. Ben is talking to Ciara, and all of a sudden, you hear this bang, and he gets hit over the head with a bedpan, and it was Jordan came up behind him, and she was she was, of course, she got into the hospital with nobody seeing her, dressed as like a doctor or whatever, comes into the room and takes Ben out. So that's kind of how it ended Friday. But I don't know, did anybody, because I kind of jumped because I wasn't expecting that the way they did it. It was kind of
I wasn't expecting it either.
Kind of jumped. Yeah.
And she was
so anyway,
go after Ciara.
Yeah, and I thought, and I liked the scene. I liked the scene between Ben and Ciara. The things that they were saying. I mean, it was cute.
Yeah.
I liked them together. It's cute.
Well, they are. They're adorable. So. They really are. The other thing that Hope did say is after he said, "Well, I know I did some things wrong, and if you need to, charge me, I understand, And she said, "Okay, well, we'll be looking at all that." And then she said she was leaving. She said, "Once you get out of the hospital, Ciara, we'll all get together and talk it over," or something like that. She made didn't you guys catch that? Where she made some comment like she's gonna not charge him, how could she really
got the
feeling
that
he saved her life? She made some
and of
comment
course,
like,
Ciara's going to talk her out of it too.
We'll talk. We'll get
Ciara.
together, including Ben. Like it was going to be something they were all going to talk about. So I'm assuming that she's going to let him off the hook, which is the only right thing to do. I mean, because he saved her daughter's life. But anyway.
Exactly.
Okay. So now, anything else before you want to
John and Marlena.
Talk about Charlene?
Yeah.
And Diana.
Well, before we have their little Valentine moment, he went and he talked to Diana, and he wanted to get to the bottom of, he thinks he's suspicious that he's Leo's father. So he was talking to Diana, and he more or less come right out and asked her, about who the father was, and she said, "Oh, yeah," and she admitted. She said, "Yes, John, you're the father." Well, I don't know about you, but I think she's lying. I think it's going to come out that John isn't the father. But he was so quick to believe her. I don't know why, because he's the one that suggested it. And then she saw the opportunity of, the way to either to get back at Marlena or to get John and all of that. So that's not good news. He hates this because now this is, his wife's grandson, and he was supposed to get the goods on Leo. Of course, she didn't. She says, "I still love my son." She wouldn't give him any dirt on Leo, like that he killed his father. So he has to go back. And now he asks, how is he going to tell Marlena this? How is he going to explain or how's she going to react? And so they're in the Brady pub, and he's telling Roman's there, and he's telling Roman all this. And Roman said, no, you can't tell her this now. It's Valentine's Day, and then she she comes in the door. Well, he says something about, I can't keep this from Marlena. And she says, what can't you keep? And then Roman jumps in. Oh, the surprise, we're going to shut the pub down, and this is for you. And so he leaves, and they have their little John and Marlena moment with gifts and stuff. And that's kind of how that all went. So, but he didn't tell her. He hasn't told her yet about. So, I don't know. But do you guys don't think that John's the father, right? Do you think that was?
No, I don't think he's the father.
No, I hope not.
No, not just. No.
Well, and
then there was
Go ahead.
There was another scene with Marlena and Will. But that's another whole thing with Will and Sonny. But with Will, he says he wanted to know about. Then she was telling him about Ben escaped and had Ciara, and he said to her something about how Ben's condition or something. She says, well, I can't tell you anything about that. And I'm there. Well, you told Hope though.
Yeah,
I thought
you
that
tell
was
everybody
that
else.
line. Yes, did you? That line was so. When she says, well, I can't tell you anything about my patients, and I'm there. You just did to Hope. So, but anyway, I thought that was, kind of funny.
I just wanted to see somebody in that hospital get sued.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's always been that way. Yeah.
Or the cop shop.
How'd everybody like Sonny and Will? They finally got back together. Yeah.
I know Leo's bad, but I like the chemistry.
Wilson. I was glad they got back together. They got to have that Valentine.
Yeah.
Gabi basically went up and distracted Leo, who was in bed waiting for. He finally tortured. He finally tortured Sonny enough that he was going to agree to go ahead and fulfill his quote-unquote husbandly duties, and Gabi's like, oh, hell no. And so she goes up, and she walks in, and Leo's naked in bed with, what is it, like a Valentine's Day heart or something?
Yeah. Nick did the same thing the one year.
Who?
Nick.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's right. I
People
remember
were saying
that
about the same thing Nick did.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot about that. So Gabi, basically, what was the deal? She was basically giving him the business. I don't know, but she distracted him.
I don't know. They didn't really. We haven't seen. I guess there's more scenes coming up because that's about all we saw. I bet there's more to it. I guess we'll see this week. Because that's kind of how it ended, and it just went in with Will and Sonny, exchanging Valentine cards.
It kept getting preempted here,
Wilson?
So I don't know what I missed.
Oh, okay. So you guys don't like Wilson?
No.
Oh,
no.
See, I do.
I guess I'm sentimental. I guess I'm kind of sentimental.
Yeah, I like them two together.
I've been rooting for them.
Although I liked Paul and Sonny together too, so I can't say.
I like them.
Yeah.
Paul and Sonny together.
I like them too. But anyway, so let's see. Go ahead.
I know Leo's a bad guy, but I like the chemistry between him and Sonny.
Yeah.
The disgust and the
Yeah.
And maybe not. Maybe that could develop. You know how you start hating each other?
Yeah.
Start out hating each other, and it turns
thin line
into
between
something
love
else.
and hate.
That's right. So
True.
That could be an interesting triangle or something. I don't know. But I like the Leo cat. I
love them.
Him and Judith chat. Both of them are
my God,
really good. Yeah, together.
Judith is really good. Yeah, they're good, and they're good as mother and son too.
Son.
Oh yeah. Been watching them for years on Young and Restless. They are so awesome.
Yes, they're.
Yeah, I'm glad you told us about that because I knew they were both on Young and the Restless. I didn't know they played mother and son.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
And Gloria was a piece of work.
What was that?
Gloria was a piece of work.
Oh yeah. I remember Gloria. I remember when Ted Shackelford played her,
husband.
naughty husband. Yeah.
Yeah, Gary Ewing.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what that era was because I was watching it for a while and I don't remember because I've always been one of those watch it for a while and then get out, you know. So I haven't watched it in years. But
yeah, it was around 2010, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Ken Schreiner actually subbed for him too.
Oh, that's funny. Small world. Let's see. I guess we don't have a whole lot of time left. We got some cleanup items here. We got Tripp and Claire, who we don't care about as far as Claire anyway. They give their relationship another chance. But
why?
Nobody cares. And Chloe's moved the kids into Stefan's, and Brady warns her and said he didn't really want her to do that. So
some good scenes with Stefan and Chloe kind of moving in, and he got them gifts, the kids gifts, and
that was sweet.
Yeah.
And he said it'll be nice to have
I kind of liked it. Too bad he's leaving because I kind of like them two together. Yeah. Of course, I like Stefan and Gabi too. So kind of like them two together. So
so now is it this coming week that Abigail and Chad decide to leave town?
I think because they kind of got back. Abby wants to, they had their moment, and Gabi says, Abby said she wants to get back together. She forgave him, and they want to be a family, and they kissed and made up. So I'm thinking soon they're done.
Yeah.
They're leaving. Mm-hmm.
And then
say maybe next week.
There should be that switch between with Stefan and
that might be coming up too.
Sarah's coming up soon too. It seems like.
Now that might not be the same kind of chemistry between like Chloe. It might make a difference.
I really kind of liked Chloe with Stefan a little bit there.
And now, now we know she's leaving.
Well, are you guys getting the impression? Well, I really kind of liked her and Brady, but are you guys getting the impression she's going to be gone soon, or because she confirmed that she was leaving, and I was just wondering, does that mean that it's soon, or is it like 6 months from now, or I'm not sure how long this storyline is playing out.
I don't know. All these time frames are so confusing.
Yep.
I know.
They're so far ahead.
And one thing about this show, Carrie, that you had noted in the summary episode information that I had not heard about, I hadn't seen anything on Twitter or anything about. You said on here that Ken Corday sues Sony over Days of Our Lives distribution.
Oh, yeah.
What's the scoop on that?
He's not getting as much publicity.
It's more of a distribution.
They're favoring Y&R. Basically, he's not getting enough out of the arrangement. Like he's paying Sony to distribute, and yet Sony's not doing any PR for him or anything. Huh?
They're not distributing the show overseas, basically.
Yeah, they're not promoting it like they do Young and the Restless.
Yeah,
and well, yeah. I don't understand that, because if I was Sony, I would want both my products to be selling and doing well. If they, if they start making money, that's more money for them. So I don't understand why they would be sabotaging Days. But I guess
maybe they just
when Sony
focused on it.
They don't. Well, they're letting Days basically die in other countries. Either it doesn't exist or it's 7 years old.
Because there were a lot of fans. Over the years, we've met a lot of fans that watched it overseas and in different places.
Yeah, they're a little behind, but
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of different fans.
Canada.
Yeah.
That's not cool. I'll have to read more about
Germany, Sweden. We have girls that watched it over there. Germany, Sweden.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So, but soon for $20 million.
Wow, I'm glad you put that in there, because I have not heard that. So read up on it a little bit.
Yeah, to see that.
Okay, then let's see. Did we pretty much cover everything?
Yep.
I think we did, huh?
I think.
All right. Anybody have anything else?
No.
Nope.
I think so.
All right. Oh, and by the way, it was really nice to have Angela call in last week. So nice. Such a longtime friend of the show and friend of ours. It was really nice to hear from her. So she's listening. Hi, Angela. We love hearing from you. All right, then, ladies. I guess we will wrap up for tonight. Thanks for everybody's contributions. And, again, happy anniversary, 10-year anniversary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Okie dokie.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.